Did you ever learn in school that your salary could quietly control your entire life? I didn't. I still remember the night it first hit me. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, phone in my hand, staring at a deposit notification. My first serious paycheck had just landed. For a few seconds, I felt unstoppable. I felt grown, independent, validated. All those years of studying suddenly felt worth it. Then, almost immediately, the other notifications started coming in. Rent scheduled, utilities pending, insurance auto-deducting, subscriptions renewing. That rush of excitement slowly turned into something heavier. Not panic, not fear, just a quiet realization that most of that money already had somewhere to go. And no teacher had ever prepared me for that feeling. For years, I believed the formula. Study hard, get good grades, graduate, get a stable job, work consistently, climb slowly, retire someday. That was the path. But nobody ever explained what happens in between. Nobody explained how your paycheck can slowly become a leash. Nobody explained how the system trains you to chase income, but never ownership. And I didn't realize any of this until I started noticing patterns in my own life. Patterns that were not accidents. Patterns that were designed. Hi, I'm Ryan. And today, I'm going to walk you through something I wish someone had explained to me much earlier. How the education system prepares you to earn money, but not how to make money work for you. If this helps you see things differently, subscribe and hit the like button. And drop a comment as we go. I read every single one. Because this conversation matters more than most people realize. Let me take you back. When I was in school, I was praised for memorizing information, for passing exams, for following instructions, for showing up on time, for sitting still, for waiting my turn. But no one ever sat me down and said, here's how money really works. No one explained assets versus liabilities. No one explained cash flow. No one explained why some people work for decades and stay stressed, while others quietly build systems that pay them back. Instead, I was trained to become employable, and you probably were too. Think about it. The entire structure of school mirrors employment. You show up at a fixed time. Later, that becomes a 9-to-5 schedule. You sit where you're told. Later, that becomes your assigned desk. You complete assigned tasks. Later, that becomes weekly deliverables. You are graded on compliance and accuracy. Later, that becomes performance reviews focused on attendance and responsiveness. You wait for permission to move forward. Later, that becomes waiting for your boss to approve vacation days or promotions. Does this feel familiar to anyone? That's not education for financial independence. That's conditioning for structured income. And I didn't see it at first. I thought income was the goal. When that first serious paycheck came in, I celebrated. I went out with friends. I told myself, this is it. I'm officially an adult. I upgraded a few things. Nothing crazy, just small improvements. A nicer apartment, better furniture, a couple of new subscriptions I deserved. But something subtle happened. The more I earned, the more I committed. A slightly better apartment meant higher rent. A small raise meant I felt justified upgrading my phone. Scrolling social media, seeing friends traveling, or buying new gadgets made me feel like I needed to keep up. What's one thing you upgraded that now feels like a leash? At first, those changes felt like rewards. Then they became expectations. Then they became obligations. And slowly, my paycheck stopped feeling like freedom. It felt required. That was the moment something shifted for me. I realized I had been trained to focus on earning money, not controlling it. And those are two very different skills. School teaches you how to qualify for income. It does not teach you how to design financial leverage. I started asking myself a question that changed everything. Why do we spend over 12 years learning how to work for money, but 0 years learning how to make money work for us? That question bothered me. It wouldn't leave my head. So I began studying outside the classroom. I learned about ownership. I learned about equity. I learned about investing. I learned about compounding. And what shocked me most was how simple the core principles were. Not easy, but simple. Spend less than you earn. Avoid unnecessary debt. Buy assets that generate returns. Let time multiply disciplined decisions. None of this was hidden, but none of it was prioritized in school. Instead, we were taught to increase income. Get certifications. get promotions, negotiate salaries. And while those things matter, they are incomplete. Because if you increase income without increasing ownership, you just increase responsibility. And responsibility without leverage leads to pressure. Let me give you something practical. When I shifted my focus from how can I earn more to how can I own more, my decisions changed. Before buying something, I began asking, is this going to produce income? Or is this going to consume income? I remember almost booking an expensive vacation package after a stressful month. I had the tab open. I could afford it. I told myself I deserved it. Then I paused and asked the question, produce income or consume income? The answer was obvious. Instead of clicking purchase, I redirected that money into an investment account. Not glamorous, not exciting, but the relief I felt afterward was real. I felt in control, not impulsive. That one filter alone protected me from dozens of emotional purchases. I also started redirecting small amounts of money into investments instead of upgrades. Not huge amounts, consistent amounts. At first, it was almost boring, watching small numbers move slowly. But over time, I saw something powerful happen. Money started working quietly in the background. I would open my app and see modest growth. $50 here, $100 there. Nothing life-changing, but it was proof. Proof that not every dollar had to be earned through my time. And something inside me relaxed. It wasn't dramatic, but it was steady. And steady builds confidence. You see, the real trap is not low income. The real trap is financial ignorance. Because ignorance keeps you dependent. And dependence feels normal when everyone around you is doing the same thing. Look around. Most adults are stressed about money. Most adults are one emergency away from pressure. Most adults feel like they cannot step away from work for long. That's not a coincidence. That's a system optimized for earners, not owners. And I'm not saying school is evil. I'm saying it is incomplete. It prepares you for participation. It does not prepare you for leverage. So how do you escape? First, awareness. For me, awareness meant tracking every expense for a few months. Seeing the patterns in black and white. Realizing how much I was spending out of habit, not intention. Awareness is uncomfortable at first, but it's powerful. Second, reduce obligations. I canceled subscriptions I barely used. I delayed upgrades. I chose stability over appearance. And almost immediately, I felt breathing room. Every canceled recurring expense felt like reclaiming a small piece of my future time. Third, build ownership slowly. I started small. A fixed amount invested consistently. No waiting for the perfect moment. Just discipline. Over a couple of years, that consistency mattered more than any single large deposit would have. Fourth, think long-term. Most financial stress comes from short-term emotional decisions. Flash sales, status upgrades, impressing people who are not paying your bills. I had to train myself to think in decades, not weekends. Ask yourself right now, are you earning more or owning more? Are you upgrading lifestyle or upgrading leverage? Are you building obligations or building options? Because the direction you choose determines the next decade of your life. And here's something powerful. When you begin building assets, your psychology changes. You stop feeling desperate for raises. You stop feeling pressured to impress people. You stop chasing status. Because you understand something deeper. True security is not your salary. It's your control over your time. I didn't learn that in school. I learned that through experience, through mistakes, through noticing how easily lifestyle inflation creeps in, through realizing that comfort can become a cage. And the moment I understood that, everything shifted. I stopped seeing money as spending power. I started seeing it as stored freedom. Every dollar saved or invested became future flexibility. Every unnecessary expense avoided became reclaimed time. And the most empowering part? You don't need to be rich to start. You need awareness. You need discipline. You need patience. That's it. The education system never emphasized this because its priority is workforce preparation. But your priority should be life design. Those are not the same goal. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to reject education. I'm telling you to complete what was missing. Learn how money works. Learn how compounding works. Learn how assets produce return. Learn how debt reduces freedom. and then apply it consistently. That is how you make money work for you. Not through shortcuts, not through hype, through structure, through awareness, through disciplined repetition. And once you see this clearly, you can never unsee it. Your paycheck stops being the finish line. It becomes the starting point. Your expenses stop being random. They become strategic decisions. Your future stops feeling uncertain. It becomes intentional. This is the missing class school never gave us. And maybe that's why we have to teach it to ourselves. I wish someone had explained this to me when I was younger. But maybe you're hearing it at the perfect time. So tell me in the comments, what's one obligation you're questioning today? Because awareness is the beginning of freedom. And freedom starts in the mind long before it shows up in the bank account. You were taught how to earn. Now learn how to own. And once you do, you won't just work for money. You'll finally understand how to make it work for you. If this resonated, share it with someone who needs this missing class too. Let's build ownership, not just income. Together.